Warning, this podcast contains heavy spoilers for not just one movie, but entire franchises. We highly recommend going and watching these movies before listening to us as a companion piece that stitches all the timelines into one creepy, crime-ridden story. There will be no more spoiler warnings. We do not break character. After this, there is no turning back. You've been warned. Hit the music.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello and welcome to It's Alive podcast. This is a true crime, paranormal, interstellar podcast covering unbelievable stories that sound like they were ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. I am your host, the outlaw Dr. H.R. Smokenstein THC, and with me as always is my very own Scream Queen, the perfect combination of beauty and brains, the bride of Smokenstein, the indie horror, the expert of guts and gore, the gorgeous, the sexy Amy Rose.
Hi.
Any New Year's resolutions?
I haven't decided yet. We did a pretty good New Year's resolution last year.
What was that?
We gave up smoking.
Oh yeah, we did. Vaping and stuff.
Okay, my New Year's resolution this year is to give up vaping.
Yeah, not me.
It's gonna take a while to get to work on that.
I have some resolutions, but we'll get that. It's mostly podcast related and what we're going to be doing on the show. But we'll talk about that in the Horrorverse headlines this week coming. So Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Oh,
when you're ready.
So, or maybe it's not so happy, depending on where you were on the December 31st, 1980. So tonight we're cracking open with one of the strangest, bloodiest cases to ever turn a party countdown into a crime scene.
I mean, it's New Year's Eve. Somebody's always they're going to get sloppy. There's always going to be someone throwing up, and sometimes somebody starts a killing spree across multiple time zones. Happens to the best of us, right?
You know, I don't think that's quite what they mean when they say ringing in the new year. But
ringing it in with a gunshot.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking about Richard Sullivan, better known to the LAPD and a terrified national audience as Evil. The man who decided the best way to celebrate the new decade was to make sure a woman died at midnight every single time the clock struck 12 across America.
It's an ambitious resolution. Eat healthier, kill one person per time zone. I think that's what self-help books mean, though, when they say, set measurable standards, goals.
Yeah. And technically, he did stick to it. 6 dead in less than 6 hours. The media dubbed them the New Year's Evil Murders, a spree that started on live television and ended with the killer falling to his death off a Hollywood hotel roof.
And the wildest part, the guy wasn't some mystery drifter or serial lunatic out of nowhere. He was married to Diane Sullivan, better known as Blaze, the punk rock DJ hosting a televised countdown that night. His wife was literally counting down the seconds to midnight while he was counting bodies.
And the cameras were rolling. The party, the calls, the threats, all broadcast live to millions of homes. Imagine watching a New Year's Eve special and realizing the caller on the line isn't a prank. He's murdering people in real time.
Call in and tell us your New Year's resolutions, Evil. I resolved to stab someone, Diane. I mean, it's terrifying and it's absurd. That's the kind of dissonance that only existed in the early 80s,
Oh, yeah.
Sequences, smoke machines, and blood on the carpet. It's not a good reason not to give up vaping for me.
What? Why?
I act as the show's smoke machine.
Oh, get some behind me. So what made Richard Sullivan so dangerous wasn't just his planning, it was his motivation. He wasn't killing for money or even attention. He was killing to make a point about women, control, and about what he saw as his own humiliation.
He wanted to correct the record, which, from what I've read, is usually code for I'm a grown man who thinks the universe owes me sex and respect.
Yeah.
Incel shit.
Exactly. And that's exactly where the investigation gets interesting. Because long before anyone ever heard the name Evil, Richard Sullivan was a failed salesman, a husband and a father with a full-blown persecution complex. He saw himself as a victim, not just of his wife, but of every woman who ever overlooked him.
Ah, yes, the ancient prophecy of the original Redditor.
Decades before the term incel was coined, Richard was living it. The grooming routines, the appearance obsession, the self-pity disguised as self-improvement. He called it looks maxing.
Yeah, that's what they all call it.
Yup. Trying to upgrade his life by changing his looks, his posture, and his whole presentation. But all it did was feed the resentment already growing inside him.
That's because you can polish a turd and it's still going to be a turd.
Pretty much.
So we're talking about a guy who looked in the mirror every day and said, "You're going to be the man they all want." And when that didn't happen, he decided to make sure they were afraid instead.
Exactly. And tonight we're diving deep into that mirror. Who Richard Sullivan really was.
Saying sorry to me, I'm a smoking stain.
That's true, you are a smoking stain. How a suburban father turned into a time zone serial killer. And how his crimes and the ideology behind him echo through the decades in ways that still feel terrifyingly relevant.
And, festive, because nothing says New Year's Year or Happy New Year. Sorry, I was going to say New Year's Eve. Nothing says Happy New Year like a murder countdown.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're dead.
Dead. So pour yourself something strong and lock the doors. From overlooked husband to self-styled executioner. This is It's Alive, and tonight's case is the New Year's Evil murders.
Right.
So, before the murders, before the phone calls, before anyone ever heard the name Evil, there was just Richard Sullivan, a kid from Van Nuys with Van Nuys. There we go, with a mirror problem.
Most teenagers have mirror problems, though. Some squeeze pimples, some talk to themselves, up before a date. Richard apparently just stared at his own reflection and saw war.
According to school records and later psychiatric file compiled by the LAPD's behavioural unit, Richard was a quiet, awkward child. Average grades, not athletic, a few minor disciplinary notes, but nothing serious. But every teacher described him the same way, self-conscious to the point of paralysis.
Translation, a kid who'd rather die than be laughed at.
Exactly. He was short, pale, slightly built. He started losing hair early, and by 18, he had a receding hairline that made him look older than his peers. And he noticed. He noticed everything. By his 20s, that insecurity had calcified into obsession. He'd spend hours in front of the mirror analysing his jawline, his teeth, his posture.
We'd call that body dysmorphia now. Back then, they just called you vain.
Right. And body dysmorphia is supposed to be absolutely crippling. Like, I would hate to know what it feels like.
I think every single human has a
to a certain point.
Because I don't think anyone ever really looks in the mirror and is all the way happy.
No, but it gets dangerous.
People will always pick out something about themselves that they don't like that nobody else sees. I mean, the amount of times you've come to me with like little things that's like, what about this? What about that? It's like, there ain't nobody, not one person in the entire world is going to notice what you're noticing right now. This is so minor, so minuscule that if you hadn't pointed it out, I wouldn't have seen it. So I don't know if you have anything to worry about here. Do you know?
Thank you. But people do genuinely ruin themselves with it when they have it very, very bad. But for Richard, this wasn't vanity, it was warfare. And every perceived flaw was proof that the world had cheated him. His notebooks recovered from the family home after the murders were full of lists, self-improvement routines, diet charts, handwritten reminders like smile wider, women like confidence, and fixed posture, alpha men stand tall.
Fucking hate that.
Alpha men bullshit.
Yeah. So squats, 3 sets, hair tonic, assert dominance.
Go away with yourself.
Yeah, this guy was one protein shake away from starting a YouTube channel.
It's funny until it isn't, though, because Richard's obsession didn't lead him to confidence. It led him to contempt. And every time he tried to better himself, he failed to get what he wanted most, validation from women.
The pre-internet incel. I wonder, though, with the receding hairline, because I've seen pictures of him that he had enough hair. He wasn't bald.
No.
Did he wear a wig? Because they wouldn't have had the fucking transplant stuff at the time. And the wigs couldn't have been that good at that stage either, because I mean, every time you saw a wig joke in like the 80s and 90s, it was just how easy the wig would fly off.
Yeah.
These days, you wouldn't know a person's wearing a wig.
Oh no,
And that thing
no,
would
no,
be
no!
stuck
It's
to their
glass.
fucking head, like.
Well, it is. It's all glued down here and like the net. But I mean, I don't know if they were around back then. But you can get like fringe wigs, 3/4 wigs, just back wigs. You know.
And I'd have to assume before the internet, there were plenty of incels around. They just had a newsletter instead of a fucking message board.
So he predates the term by decades, but his mindset matches it perfectly. The belief that women held all the power, that the rejection was oppression, and that attractiveness was destiny. He wanted to look like a man in control because he never felt like one.
And every reflection just told him he wasn't. And that's the thing about incels. It's like they're convinced that women will only look for men who are good looking and rich.
It's extremely shallow when you think about it. Extremely, extremely shallow view on life.
But you know what? At the other side of it, if that was true, I wouldn't be able to blame a woman for that, considering how women have been treated throughout time.
Well, yeah, there's that side of it as well, but it's not true.
You know?
But I know where you're coming from.
That it would be like, I might as well get the best out of life. And if that means I have to marry rich to get the best out of life, then that's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I want to look at someone that's good looking for the rest of my life, and if I'm going to have to suffer through being second class, I might as well have something nice to look at while I'm at it. But obviously,
Exactly.
Personality has a long way to go with it, because
Huge.
you can be good looking and a dick. You can be rich and a prick.
You can be
More
good
like-
looking
more
and
often
get
than not,
loads
you
of
are
first
rich and a
dates,
prick.
and you're never going to go past that first date because everybody's like, your personality makes you ugly. Sorry.
But on the opposite side, then the incels just give up, and it's like, well, you're not even hitting that basic attractiveness of, I had a shower and cut my hair
I'm
today.
clean.
I've shaved and trimmed my nails and so on and so forth. My clothes are clean and shit like that. And I know how to talk to women outside of...
Make me sandwich.
Well, no, I think with them, I would assume it would be fucking... I don't know, some anime shit and fucking wanting you to be like these anime girls and stuff.
Oh, like their Discord kitten shit.
Anyway.
Yeah. So his co-workers at Crestline Electronics described him as polite but withdrawn. A ghost in a tie. That's a nice description. It is, though, a ghost in a tie. He'd make small talk, but any mention of relationships or dating sent him into visible discomfort. And when one of his colleagues got engaged, Richard apparently muttered, "He doesn't deserve her," under his breath, loud enough for several people to hear.
So the envy's already turning outward.
Yes. And then in 1969, he meets Diane. Diane Sullivan was everything Richard wasn't. Outgoing, vibrant, magnetic. She worked part-time as a club promoter and later a DJ. She was 5 years younger, from Santa Monica, with big dreams and an even bigger personality. They had met at a New Year's Eve party, fittingly, where, according to mutual friends, Diane took pity on the quiet guy by the punch bowl.
Always dangerous when charisma meets self-loathing. But again, it shows opposites attract as well in that side of things. And you don't have to be fucking... Not the life of the party, but you don't have to be the center of attention to attract someone who is the life of the party and the center of attention.
No,
you know?
exactly. So they started dating within weeks, and by every outside account, she really did try to love him, but Richard's insecurity made that almost impossible. He'd study her interactions with other men, bartenders, producers, even fans once she became popular, and interpret every smile as a betrayal. In one argument, recorded in Diane's personal journal, he accused her of humiliating him in public because she laughed too loudly at another man's jokes. Why did she stay with them?
It's the kind of paranoia that never stays small. It breeds in the dark, but I don't know.
Festers is what it does.
It's a strange one, because I don't know, maybe... See, this is again another thing that where they do fuck up. It's like when one of these like red pill incellers, ones that do this look maxing. The black pills are the ones that just give up.
Give up. Red pills think
red
that there's
pills
hope.
think they can improve themselves to trick a woman into bed with them. And with those red pillars, the problem is that once they have thought they have achieved the tricking of the woman into the bed and into the relationship, there is a constant fear that someone who is legitimate, who is born pure-blooded, good-looking, and masculine and alpha, that they will come along and steal him away from these half-breed fakers.
It's so ridiculous.
Yep.
So when their son Derek was born, Richard's fixation only deepened. He saw himself in the boy, sensitive, artistic, close to his mother, and he hated it. He worried Derek would grow up to be, in his own words, another weak man molded by women.
So no, he's not just jealous of his wife, he's jealous through his son.
Exactly. And that's when the police psychologist, what police psychologists later described as projected emasculation. Richard viewed Diane's independence and success as a personal attack, and she saw Derek's gentle nature as proof that she was corrupting the next generation.
So the incel becomes a patriarch. Not satisfied with being powerless, he wants to rewrite the script for everyone under his roof. He wants to... He's basically... I don't even think it's an incel thing. I think it's just a fucking power trip fucking thing at this point.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He wants to, have the control over everyone in the house, and the fact that the woman of the house is now the main breadwinner and the main personality of the house just isn't going to fly well with him, isn't going to sit well with him, and he's not going to put up with it.
Yeah. And that's where we see the first signs of what he later called his corrections. He believed men had to reclaim control first of themselves and then of women. He joined self-help groups, attended assertiveness workshops, read pop psychology books about dominance and sexual energy. And then, according to one co-worker, he started carrying a tape recorder everywhere he went, and he'd speak into it like a confessional. Dozens of these tapes were recovered after his death.
What's on him? I know what's on him.
Rants, fantasies, sometimes just breathing. But on one dated 6 months before the murders, he says, and I quote, "When the clock resets, so will I. No more rejections, no more jokes."
The clock resets. That's the seed of the New Year's Evil plan straight off the fucking bat.
Exactly. And he saw the new decade, 1980, as a symbolic reboot, a chance to purge his humiliation in a way that the world couldn't ignore. And by that point, Diane's career as Blaze was taking off. She was a popular punk DJ, hosting live radio events, appearing on TV. But meanwhile, Richard had been laid off, replaced by a younger manager. And the resentment metastasized. He started using the name Evil on his tapes, claiming he'd become what women made him.
So this is... Well, it isn't just about control anymore. No, it's about revenge as well, on top of this. And a little tip here for all men. This alpha thing is very similar to being cool. If you have to say you're cool, if you have to tell people you're
then
cool, you're not cool. If you have to walk around telling people you're an alpha or you aspire to be an alpha, you are always a bottom feeder and will forever be a bottom feeder. Simple as.
Exactly.
You don't need to tell people what you are. You just
be it.
Exactly.
So when the decade turned, he made sure everyone would see the message on live television, no less. But before that night, before the calls and the countdown, there was still one person who tried to reach him. Diane's personal assistant, Yvonne Danafu. Thank you. And she would become his first victim.
The woman who saw him slipping and paid the price for it, basically.
Yeah. And we'll get to that soon. The first murder, the first midnight, and the beginning of Richard Sullivan's nationwide killing spree.
Yes.
So by the late 1970s, the Sullivans looked like a success story on paper. They had a house in the hills, a son in private school, and Diane's career as Blaze, that loud, rebellious new wave DJ, was taking off. But inside the house, the air was getting
thick with resentment, hairspray, and the smell of cheap whiskey.
Yes. Yeah, that's not too far off. The financial records show Richard hadn't worked steadily for almost 2 years before the killings. Diane was the breadwinner and the public face of their family. And for Richard, that was unbearable. He started keeping what he called accountability logs of Diane's activities, who she talked to, when she came home, and how often she smiled on camera.
Yeah, nothing says healthy fucking marriage like a personal surveillance program.
Mm-hmm. He'd use those notes as ammunition during arguments, and friends of the couple told people that Richard would quiz Diane after her radio shows, accusing her of inviting temptation. One night, he reportedly said,
You want to be seen. You want them to want you. And that's projection 101. He wanted to be wanted and couldn't stand that she was actually the one that was in the spotlight.
Exactly. But what was wrong? What's wrong with a woman wanting someone to want, like what as in our men wanting to feel attractive? All that is feeling attractive.
Yeah,
Do you know, having confidence? That's all that is. Nothing fucking wrong with that.
Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine how he would even look? He would look down on me just because of the pictures we put up on Instagram.
Yeah, that's true. I'd
Most
be dead at this
incels
stage.
would.
Oh, go away with yourselves. So this is when his personal writings start echoing early incel ideology, the toxic, self-justifying worldview that we still see today, as we said. He wrote that women were biological manipulators, that attraction was a weapon, and that men who failed to dominate were erased.
That could be ripped straight out of any incel forum minus the misspellings. And I did hear I can't remember the comedian. I mentioned it before on the show, on one of our shows when we were talking about incels. And there was a female comedian. I can't remember who she was. She's American. And she was talking about incels. And she was trying to be nice about it at first. But then when she got to the end, she basically turned around and she said, do you not think that in a world where survival of the fittest is how humankind has survived and moved onwards, that the reason incels exist is because we are breeding you out of existence? You have failed to fucking evolve along with the rest of the human race, so now you will die out.
Yeah.
Away from us, because the strongest survive and move forward while the weak stay stuck in the past and die off.
Exactly. I mean, you never see a weedy looking horse, do you?
No. So the reason you're not having sex is because the fucking human race has realized you were a disgusting piece of shit, toxic human being, and we're just gonna let you fucking.
And that's nothing got to do with your looks. Nothing. In any way,
attitude,
shape, or form.
100 personality. That is 100% what that fucking is.
Yes. So in 1979, all this was underground thinking. He didn't have a digital echo chamber, and he had self-help tapes and men's magazines telling him to take back control. His diaries even reference what he called looks maxing, grooming, exercise, clothing, all meant to correct his genetic disadvantages.
So he's working on himself in the worst possible way. But you know what's even worse? 1980s and the 1990s, this would have just been seen as normal magazine fucking material.
Oh, yeah.
Women's magazines would be the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10 ways to fucking satisfy your man. Yeah? Fucking new crash diet, how to lose fucking 20 pounds in fucking 10 hours.
Oh, yeah. If you don't weigh 8 stone and wear a size 2, you're fat kind of thing. It was everywhere, not just...
This thing is, before the internet, this was being bombarded you on newsstands, on television, on radio. I mean...
Mm-hmm. We've come a long way since then. I am happy that curves and plus size figures.
Me too. Skinny women are... Ugh.
I don't like seeing collarbones sticking out.
No.
But
if
then,
you're straight down, there's a problem. I need some bumps and lumps.
But then you kind of have to
Peaks and
see
valleys
as well that everybody comes in all shapes and sizes.
And everybody has different tastes for different people. Some people like skinny women. Some people like big, curvy fucking women.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with any of it.
No.
You know? I personally went all over the spectrum in my time and
excuse me,
settled in the center. Not too I'm like Three Bears, Goldilocks and Three Bears. Not too heavy, not too light, right in the middle. Curves in all the right places.
He treated self-improvement like a battle plan. He went through phases, the fitness phase, the confidence phase, and what Diane described to friends as the mirror phase. That's when he'd stand in front of his reflection and rehearse monologues about power and dominance. Diane reportedly walked in on him one night, shirtless, telling his reflection,
"You'll make them see. Most people just do affirmations. Richard's doing a TED talk on his own psychosis. But no, it's one thing I will stand up for, right? Definitely. If you feel insecure in yourself and you don't think you look the way you want to look, or you're acting the way you want to act,
work on it.
Working on it is a positive thing. Definitely. Working on your
own
fitness,
mental health, even, it's a positive
thing. Working on your fitness, great. Work on your grooming, great. I am a big proponent of confidence is key. And you can fake it till you make it in any fucking situation. And confidence, you could... You could look like the troll that just fucking dragged itself out from underneath of a fucking bridge. If you walk in there with a swagger in your fucking step and
be a nice person.
Yeah, and know how to fucking speak, that goes a long way towards getting you where you want to be. If you walk in there already defeated, believing that everyone in the room fucking hates you and doesn't want anything to do with you, you've already lost the battle. It's over. You can be fucking George Clooney in his heyday and you're still not getting laid because you're too fucking what's the word? Too fucking.
You don't present. You're presenting yourself in a negative light. The minute
but you're
somebody sees
confrontational.
Oh,
You're constantly defensive. You don't believe in yourself, and if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in yourself. So I do believe. I've always said that since we've been doing this podcast. It's something I always say to you: it's confidence. We got to walk in there confidently. We got to act confident. We got to talk confidently. We got to dress confidently. We got to.
And sometimes you have to grow the confidence. You have to nurture it a tiny bit. Like like you said, fake it till you make it. Just because you're like, all right, I'm going to be confident today, doesn't mean you're going to feel like it on the inside straight away. But if you present it outwards.
Oh, I mean, the first few episodes of this podcast we put up, we were fucking shaking little, just terrified little
glued
children
to
when we put it up,
scripts, not able to. We were pausing every 5 minutes.
And then when we decided we were going to start fucking putting up pictures of you, like in cosplay stuff and sexy pictures and stuff like that, I mean, every time she put one of these up, number one, it will probably take you about 2 hours to post a picture because you would fucking look over every detail of the picture to make sure it's perfect. Every down to what music will be used, what caption will be used, what hashtags will be used. But you over the top, it was like you were worried. And after you posted it, you'd have to put your phone away for fucking a period of time and not even look. It just wouldn't look at the fucking phone for ages in case somebody had something negative to say about you.
But that's not just related to the pictures. When we first started seeing each other and we were texting, when I used to text you back, I'd just throw the phone onto the other couch and I'd sit there and then I'd go back and I'd be like, oh, he texted me back, and then I'd text you back again and then I'd be like, can't look at the phone.
But it's just a confidence thing, and once you get that confidence up, suddenly all that becomes a lot fucking easier. It just flows. We walk in here now, we just sit down, we start talking. We're half of what we're talking about is written down. Sometimes, like now, we're just chatting. When it comes to you posting fucking pictures, I'm trying to get her to put clothes on for the pictures, and she's like, no, it's fine.
No, these ones do better.
But it's just, it's all about confidence and believing in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, then you can go very, very fucking far. Yeah. You don't have to throw yourself down this deep, dark hole of fucking resentment to improve person you were going. It's counteractive. Everything these incels do is counteractive to what they want to achieve.
Yes. So as Diane's fame grew, his rants about gender and control became more structured, almost like sermons. And he started saying things like,
men have lost the calendar. Women own time now. That's a weird line, but it hits. The calendar, symbolic time, progress, visibility. He's basically saying, you're running the show now, and I'm just stuck watching.
Yeah. And the calendar, the clock, those symbols clearly matter to him. Yeah. And that fixation on time would become the spine of his killing pattern. According to the LAPD's case file 8101S, Richard began drafting what he called the New Year's thesis. And it wasn't just a plan for murder, yes. Just a handwritten manifesto about purging feminine corruption and resetting control.
Oh, he would love the 2020s. So his New Year's resolution was basically female genocide. Femicide.
Yeah. Femicide, exactly.
Lots of femicide.
He wasn't thinking globally, but yeah, he wanted a cleansing act. A public demonstration that men could reclaim power. He even drafted fake headlines in his notebooks, things like
Midnight Killer sends message to women everywhere.
And as his fantasies escalated, so did his paranoia.
Let me guess, he started seeing conspiracies everywhere.
Exactly.
The female agenda, man. They're taking over. We need to get back to the good old days, back in the 1920s before the war, when you could just slap the woman, teach her a lesson.
Switch no bigger than your thumb, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I have
no fucking idea.
That's what was legal.
I don't know. Never put my hands on a woman. Never plan on putting my hands on a woman. Not in that way, anyway.
Yeah, well, it's not legal anymore, obviously.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
That's what
sorry.
I'm saying, John.
So he accused Diane of conspiring with her producer of humiliating him live on air. And at one point, he called the radio station pretending to be a fan just to see if she'd flirt back. When she didn't recognize his voice, he told her co-worker afterward.
She's trained not to hear me. Oh, he's such a bitch.
Yup.
And I wouldn't mind doing this show, right? And we've discussed lately about, and that's one of our New Year's resolutions that we'll be discussing on the Harvard's headline this week, about trying to do something live on Patreon weekly, right?
That'd be fun.
So that people can interact with us. If somebody interacted with you in this live setting in a flirty way, I would be encouraging you to flirt back to keep said person paying for our product. I would not be thinking in my own head like fucking that this means she is going to, as soon as we finish recording, she's going to
track down that guy in Germany, and that's
she's going to fucking cheat me. I know it. I fucking know she's doing it. So I mean, does he not realize like her job as a punk rock DJ is probably to be a little flirty with the flirty guys that come on in to keep them listening and to keep them fucking interested.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same kind of case of how back in like the 80s and 90s, boy bands and girl band groups were specifically told to keep their marriages and relationships secret. Do not wear a wedding band because it ruins the fucking illusion for the fans who want to believe they can get with you.
Do you think that was the whole Jonas Brothers thing with the wedding band? Is that or the purity ring that they're not with anybody, so you know there's still hope for all of you teenagers.
Yeah, no, it's like a challenge. You could be the one to break them.
Oh boy,
you can be the one to unlock that chastity belt.
Male chastity belts sound creepy.
I don't even know how it would work.
Did you never see them?
Oh, those little cage things that they have.
You see, my thing about that is when I see them, it's like, what if you get hard? Is it going to break the little cage thing, or is it going to break your penis because it can't go out straight?
But that's usually like kind of cuck porn where the guy has to watch his wife have sex with like some other guy and they tease him about it and he's not able to
do anything because he's caged.
Because he's caged in. But it always looks extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've seen pictures on Reddit, but I don't think I'd ever be able to watch anything further than that, to be honest.
You should try it sometime. I'm joking. So Richard is documenting all of it. The police found dozens of those recordings in his workshop, and some were labelled with Diane's name, others were just labelled with times and dates. And one particularly disturbing tape recovered from a locked drawer features him whispering, "One for each zone, one for every hour she shines." That's when he locks into the time zone as his framework. He's turned geography into punishment. Yes. It's logic only he could follow. 4 time zones, 4 corrections, but he went further and he added 2 more deaths. The first and last were personal, and the first to announce his presence and the last to complete the message. That first one, which would be Yvonne Danifu, wasn't random. Not at all, no. Yvonne was Diane's personal assistant and one of the few people who tried to intervene. She told friends she was worried about Richard's behaviour, the long silences, the fixation on recording equipment, the dark way he talked about New Year's Eve. And she even left a note in her apartment, kind of like a diary entry that said, "He scares me. He's smiling more now, but it feels wrong." And when someone that close to a killer starts to notice the cracks, they usually don't live long enough to report it. That's exactly what happened. As December 31st approached, Richard prepared his disguise, his props and his route. The phone calls, the tapes, the timing, it was all laid out in meticulous notes that investigators later recovered. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to be heard. Which is why he picked the live broadcast. If he couldn't control his wife in private, he'd do it in public. Exactly. And I'll just tell you now, it just popped into my head right this minute. I know how all this plays out, and I know he thought he was going to get away with it, but I can't understand for the life of me how this guy thought he was ever going to get away with any of this. It's live TV, man. Nope. But again, like I said before, it's trying to make sense out of a senseless mind. Yeah. Who knows what these people are thinking? So the public message began with Yvonne, the woman who knew too much. and she was the first to die.
And the first to prove he meant every word of those tapes.
And now the countdown begins. The first murder, the first midnight, and the chilling phone call that introduced the world to evil. December 31st, 1980, Los Angeles, California. The holiday lights shimmered across the city as Diane Sullivan prepared for her late-night New Year's Eve broadcast. She was radiant as always, dressed for a celebration, microphone in hands, and DJ boards glowing. But in the shadows, Richard Sullivan was already at work.
And by work, we mean planning a murder spree. Classic New Year's Eve activities, really.
Yeah. Richard's first target wasn't random. Yvonne, Diane's personal assistant, as we said, and longtime friend, had grown concerned over his escalating behaviour. She had witnessed the obsessive recording sessions, the paranoid notebooks, and even tried to warn Diane that Richard seemed different lately. Dangerous.
She saw the warning signs, and unfortunately the warning signs come with a deadline, midnight.
Yeah. According to the LAPD's investigative report, Yvonne entering her hotel room at 9:45 p.m. to grab a shower and change of clothes before Diane's broadcast. Richard followed. CCTV from the hallway confirmed a tall figure trailing her in the shadows.
That's when things go from creepy to deadly. So what actually happens here is she goes into the room. What they assumed happened, because obviously we don't really know what happens inside a room on stores.
No.
But from the forensics and the looking around, the police reports, they reckon when she went in, that she was going to prepare to take a shower, and when she got into the bathroom, she noticed something was off. That she must have noticed something was off, because she was still dressed, so she wasn't ready to get into the shower. But she was found stabbed to death inside in the bathtub. Yeah. So the guess is that he slipped into the bathroom at some point and hid in the shower waiting for her. And when she came in, he took his shot and he went for her. The most chilling part about it is he recorded it on a little radio that he was bringing around.
Oh, the video cassette, or the radio recorder. Yeah.
Just like
the one that he was talking into the whole time.
No, this was literally like, you press record and play at the same time. Like a fucking radio.
Yeah, I used to do it with the radio songs when I couldn't afford an album. Yeah,
that's what the dude was doing. He was just recording it.
Okay. So police recovered a cassette from his apartment labelled Zone 1. The tape captured her final moments, muffled sounds, a whispered please, and then the unmistakable click of a knife.
This is when he first made the phone call to Diane.
Yep. At 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, Diane's station received the call. The voice on the line, low, deliberate, chilling, said simply,
"One naughty girl down. Keep watching. Keep watching, Blaze. You're next. Eventually."
That was the pattern he would repeat across multiple time zones. But the next victim was in the central time zone, Nurse Jane O'Connell.
A nurse at a Los Angeles sanitarium. What did she do to him?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She was a professional, dedicated to her patients, but Richard saw her through the lens of his manifesto. Any woman living her life freely, happily, or independently was, in his mind, guilty of mocking men like him.
Oh, so her biggest crime here was having a job.
Yeah, and being able to support herself.
And from what happens next, I assume from being a little bit too, and he's mind frame, not mine, slutty. Because what we have seen again from CCTV is that Richard enters the sanitarium dressed as a nurse, a male nurse, a psychiatric nurse.
Yeah.
And bumps into Nurse Jane. And she obviously asks him, "Who is he? What are you doing here?" He says he's a temp. He was called in, said that they were low on staff that night and that he was asked to come in and help out. Regular kind of fucking work shit. You wouldn't think twice about it if you was at your job and someone said they were a temp. So he was like, "That's no problem." But he's a bit flirty with her. She's a bit flirty back. And he says, "Look, it's New Year's Eve. It's late. We got a lot of the work done. A lot of the work is done already. We're really only kind of just keeping an eye out. Before I start my shift, let's have a little New Year's drink just to mark the occasion."
I'm going to say a tumble in one of the patients.
So they go into one of the doctors, examination rooms.
Okay.
And there he is having a drink with her.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to flirt a bit more, and they start kissing, and they are about to get down to action when he says, just let me put on some music. He presses record, and then he fucking stabs her to death as the countdown on the TV is going 5.
So no Barry
4,
White.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. He then, to prove that he was the real deal, makes a phone call telling Diane to tell the cops where the body is, and playing the recording of the woman being murdered over the phone line to her.
Hey.
So that's a psychological nightmare right there. First the sound of someone being killed, and then, I'm coming for you.
Exactly. The tape was heard by investigators during forensic analysis, and it was confirmed his method and his mindset. The murder itself was swift. Jane was stabbed on the job directly at midnight Central Time. Police later described the scene as ritualistic in its terror.
And of course, he called Diane again, 12:01 a.m. Central Time. Diane picked up. Do you want to hear what he had to say?
Do I have a choice?
No.
Okay.
1 down so far, an hour till my next victim dies. You'll be last. Watch, Blaze, watch. So it's funny here that he actually left Yvonne out of his count.
Yeah, but he'd
She
already
doesn't really
let
count.
the...
I actually mistook that at the start. I don't think she was killed at midnight. She was killed previous to midnight.
Okay.
She was just someone who would have, I think in his eyes,
jeopardized the whole thing?
I think he could see that she had concerns about him. And I think as soon as he made the first phone call stating what he was going to do, that she would have jumped for. Whereas Diane probably didn't think twice about Richard that night. Yvonne probably would have stepped forward and said, "Where's Richard?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling he could have something to do with this, and
Yeah.
I think that might have been why he kind of left her out of his thing. And I don't think, again, she was a part of his official plan, even though she would fit his MO 100%, independent
absolutely.
working girl who's fucking working with his wife and advising his wife to basically his female oppressors of advisor, who's probably going to tell his wife, oh, don't be putting up with his shit, you fucking do you, girl, and all this kind of fucking shit. So she'd have to be public enemy number 1 to him.
Right.
But he didn't. And you see this with some killers. Sometimes they'll claim some and not others, even though it's theirs. And then sometimes it's to do with embarrassment. Sometimes it's
Like
because
Bundy.
it doesn't. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't fit with their original MO. Sometimes there's mistakes. In this case, I really do just feel like it would have given the game away too early, and it was away from his planned set, because killers like this who are in this psychosis, they don't want to deviate from their plan.
No.
The plan is set. The fact that she had to go was just extra.
Yeah.
It's not something that he wants on his score sheet, basically.
Okay.
And that's when national attention started, because Diane's live broadcast picked up the calls in real time. It was like a calling show.
Yeah,
You called in to give you remember in the
A
90s.
request.
A request and a shout out. You got any shout outs? I want to say hello to my class in
and everybody who knows me.
and my teacher and my cousins and my mom. So it was that kind of shit,
Yeah.
Do you have anyone you want to say Happy New Year to, request a song, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the crew scrambled. Police were alerted. Security tightened, but Richard had already moved on, thinking 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
1 down, on to the next.
Exactly. And investigators later reconstructed his timeline using police files, witness interviews, and his own notes. So between Jane and Yvonne, he travelled with precision, avoiding cameras and leaving no immediate trace. But the pattern was set. 1 woman per time zone, culminating in Diane herself on Pacific time.
And for him, it wasn't just murder, it's performance art. Again, another reason why Yvonne might have had to be kept out of the fucking frame, because it's not a part of the art of one every time zone at midnight.
Exactly.
He wanted to terrorize his wife, validate his ideology, and make sure everyone watching, literally millions, knew he was in control. Again, I think it's another way of him saying, ye women might think ye have this power, but really, if men decide to tomorrow morning, we could fucking beat you all back down into submission and take control over everything again. You know, I think that's his mindset here with the way he's dealing with things, you know?
Yeah. And the tapes played a huge role in that. Each murder became a grim proof of concept, reinforcing his narrative. Women were dangerous, men were powerless, and he, Richard Sullivan, was the one who would correct the world.
And all before the champagne corks were even popped. So the plan there, obviously, is for him to make the men dangerous and the women powerless again, just like I said 2 seconds ago. Just the proof that physically, if we wanted to, it's almost like saying men are allowing women to have this power, and that if we want to take it back, we can take it fucking back.
No, you can't.
No, I believe that. Because you just close your legs and say, none of this.
No more human race.
Oh, no. I can't go back to my hand. You're in trouble, though, once the fucking AI robotics get advanced.
Who we are. Yeah, again, you'll all die out. We'll all die out. So, I mean,
how did the
power.
alien race comes down? How did the human race die? They all started fucking robots, son. They all started fucking robots.
Pretty much. So the Mountain and Pacific time zones are next. More women die. A biker gang gets involved, and Diane, oblivious to the full scope, prepares to face the killer live on air. As she suffers through the tapes of Sally Mortis, Lisa Crane, Clay Teller, and Officer Johnny Law. Nice name. After the deaths of Yvonne and Nurse Jane O'Connell, Richard Sullivan's spree moved westwards. The Mountain Time Zone was next, a less densely populated area, but not without witnesses and chaos.
Which is where things start to get messy, literally and figuratively. So, obviously, best laid plans can always fall apart.
Yes.
So, his next goal is... So, this guy is like... He could have done all this a lot simpler and probably gotten away with it, but he made this more complicated than it needed to be. So he's, like we said, he dressed up in the psychiatric nurse uniform, went to a psychiatric fucking facility and killed another nurse.
He did.
Now he has changed. He's wearing going out clothes and he has a fake moustache.
Did he have the glasses and the nose to go with it?
No. But he's going to go to a bar and pick up some loose woman to get rid of next.
Women. I hate that phrase.
So he picks up a woman named Sally Moritz.
Moritz. We had it spelled wrong.
Yeah. What he wasn't planning for when he picked up Sally Moritz was that Sally was actually a little smarter than he expected and wouldn't go anywhere without her friend Lisa Crane. Right. So he invites them to come along to a party with him, and he's like, "Fuck it." Looking at the clock, time's running out. Both of you can come. Let's go. So they're driving along, but they're stuck in traffic trying to get to this next location that he has planned to commit the next murder for the next time zone. But the time is slowly running out, so he decides he's got to improvise this fucking killing. He pulls over to a convenience store and sends Lisa in for beer and cigarettes. And he's like, "You go in there, get beer and cigarettes. We'll be out here and we'll go to the party straight afterwards." Lisa reluctantly fucking agreed to go in, and she heads in. As soon as she goes in, he strangles Sally right there in the fucking car to death.
Okay.
Then when Lisa comes back out of the shop, the car is missing.
Okay.
And he kind of lures her. He makes some noise from behind the shop that lures her from. This is what's believed by police afterwards on the CCTV. Grainy, it's 80s, so it's barely visible.
Yeah.
But you can see her kind of looking as if she's heard something, and she makes her way to the back of the shop. And she sees a dumpster, and you can see her opening the dumpster, and she is instantly dragged into that dumpster. So Richard is inside the fucking giant skip, the giant dumpster, and he then stabs her to death and strangles her at the same time. Again.
To be sure.
Yeah. Calls the police. Well, calls Diane, plays the sound of the two women dying, and tells them exactly where the bodies are. so that the police can go find him. The police go there, and sure enough, they find her. They're not exactly in the dumpster where he left them, but behind there is a little playground.
Yeah.
And they find Sally, I believe, tied up on a swing. Look of shock and fucking terror on her face. And then on a slide, they find Lisa's body lying there with the stab wound. Or did they find her? Yeah. With the stab wound and the look of shock and all that in her fucking face at the same time. So that's where he was left. So he just about made this time zone.
Okay.
But 2 for 1 on that time zone.
Well, yeah, good going. Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, we'll find out later he needed that extra one.
Police notes described the scene as quick, surgical, almost detached, but the psychological impact was amplified by his method. Before the attack, he used a portable recorder to play back Jane O'Connell's murder. Witnesses reported hearing faint screams and yelling before a sudden silence.
That's terror as a performance. He's teaching the world and Diane how serious he is. So the Mountain Time Zone, 2 victims. His methodology is consistent, terrifying. He is going to try and be on time every fucking time.
Yes.
No, I didn't know that. I don't know how he managed that. So is he playing the sound of his previous murder to the person before he murders him and then recording the murder while it's happening straight after? He'd have to be fast with his fucking hands.
He would. Maybe turn on the tape recorder with his foot. So then things got complicated. While he was preparing for his next victim, he inadvertently crossed paths with a local biker gang outside a drive-in theater.
Yes. And as a former member of a local biker gang, it's a bad idea.
No.
So he gets to what happened was news of his murder came over the news on the radio. So he got distracted listening to the news reports about his crimes.
Okay.
The distraction caused him to look down. When he heard it mentioned on the radio, he looked down at the radio, which meant he wasn't looking at the road or the fucking biker gang in formation right in front of him. And he, not hard, but slowly kind of drives into the back of one of them.
Okay.
But again, from being in that culture and around that culture, I can tell you hit one of them, all of them are going to be on top of you pretty fucking quickly. So he tries to take off because the bikers don't take this too kindly and start whacking at the car, and he basically drives through them and drives as fast as he can away from them. They fucking follow on their bikes. In the meantime, he finds a space, he pulls over, and he changes into a priest's costume. This is the third costume change for this fucking asshole.
Could have kept it simple for herself. Just get a balaclava. Done and dusted.
Third costume change. But the bikers still recognize the car, so they knew who they were looking for.
Yeah.
And they spot the car again, and he drives off as fast as he can, now dressed as a priest. He drives into the drive-in, and he parks in amongst all the other cars at the drive-in. And the bikers come in and they start searching the drive-in for the car they're looking for. So he knows he's got to switch up the cars. He finds, where are we now? Looking just so I don't go over where I am. No, yeah. So that's basically where we're at the moment. He knows he has to switch cars, and as he's making his way through the drive-in trying to find a suitable replacement or easy victims to pull out of a car and take their car, he ends up bumping into a guy named Clay Teller, who was a part of that gang and who was looking for him. And before he could raise the alarm as to say, I found him, he's over here, let's kick the shit out of him, he gets stabbed to death by Richard, who wasn't going to wait. So that's another fucking off cannon fucking murder for him. So yeah, that's brave and deadly at the same time.
Yeah. Richard didn't hesitate. He stabbed Clay Teller in the chest, leaving him dead at the scene. And according to eyewitness reports, Richard then hijacked a nearby couple's car to escape without being recognised. The woman in the back seat was threatened, but ultimately escaped unharmed. Yeah,
you have Mark Dufresne and Terry Copley. They were in the car. He basically just threw Mark out of the car and left Terry in there. They were fooling around in the back seat. He came up, grabbed Mark, fucked him out of the car, didn't actually do any damage to the guy.
Okay.
Jumped into the front seat and took off with Terry still in the back. Terry survived.
Yeah.
And this is what Terry had to say about the situation. Terry said she at first thought he was a carjacker who was going to rape her, basically. So she was afraid she was going to be raped and murdered, which she was half right about what was supposed to happen. So she essentially told him, look, if it's sex you're looking for, let's just do it. I won't fight. I won't scream. You can do what you want to do, and then just let me go. Yeah. He didn't say anything bar shut the fuck up or I'll kill you. He had to stop until he kind of got stopped by cops. The cops were kind of on his trail at this point, and there was a cop checkpoint that kind of knocked him off course. But he had to stop for a split second in the car, but it was enough of a second for Terry to jump the fuck out and run. Yeah. He then jumps out of the car and starts chasing her. The cops who were at the checkpoint notice this and start chasing him.
Okay.
So he is looking for her, and again, we're in this kind of a park area, and she finds this little shed that has a little crawl space underneath it, and she hides under the crawl space. Yeah. And he's looking for her, walking around with the gun out, and his plan at this point is just shoot her and move on. Okay. But he can't find her, and he hears the cops coming up behind him, so he bolts on, leaving her to survive. Meaning, he has just missed
a
deadline.
Okay.
So, luckily, he kind of had himself backed up, but he's 2 for 1 in the last time zone, but he has missed this time zone.
Oh, whole plan's fucked now. Well, he's improvising now, killing, stealing a car, holding someone hostage, and all this before midnight in his home time zone.
Yeah, because that was the last time zone left to take care of business,
sure
wasn't it?
Was.
The hotel where the show that Blaze was putting on, Diane was putting on, was put on lockdown because they had clicked at this point she was the last victim. Yeah. That was the plan, was to finish off with her being the victim in this last final time zone. When he gets there, still dressed as a priest, he sees that the cops have the place on lockdown, and he decides, fuck this, I gotta find a way in because they're not letting anybody in. Okay. No one in, no one out. That's just the way they're keeping it. Or once you left, you weren't getting back in.
Yeah, yeah.
So what he did was he went around back where there was still cops on the door, but it was in the parking garage, and there was plenty of places to hide. Once there was one cop left on the door, he started calling out for help, and the cop comes walking around to see what's going on. He knocked out the cop, this Johnny Law guy we were talking about, and
Officer Law, I love that.
Yeah, ties him up, kind of knocks him up, ties him up, and steals his clothes. A cop. So that's escalation. That's big escalation right here. He's no longer just sending messages to Diane. He's directly challenging law enforcement. And once he has the clothes, he's able to get into the fucking building without anybody looking at him sideways.
Yeah, yeah. An Officer Law's attack is significant. It demonstrates Richard's complete detachment from any social or legal constraints, and he was no longer hiding in the shadows. He was orchestrating chaos openly.
And all while Diane has no idea her own husband is behind it. She's still on air, reading the countdown, hearing the calls, trying to keep a live broadcast together while bodies pile up across the country.
Yes. And the LAPD reconstruction shows that by the time Richard entered the hotel, the building was already locked down by police. Security had been heightened. All the guests were accounted for, yet he found a way in.
Yeah, like we said, knock out a cop, steal his clothes, he's way in.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only clothes he had.
This guy he's a fucking suitcase.
Oh, fuck me. Well, he needed this one, to be fair.
Worse than old girl.
So he stashed some clothes and some tools in the hotel days beforehand. Smart thinking. That they will be there waiting for him. So he had them hidden kind of in a hallway behind some fucking big potted plant that was there. You know, one of these decorative fucking hotel fucking potted plants. And they were his normal regular street clothes.
Yeah.
So he changes into them. He leaves the tools where they are because he's going to need them a little later. But yeah, that's what he did.
So he moved through the corridors silently, evading officers until finally he confronted Diane.
And this is when his manifesto, the resentment, the control, the ideology meets reality. He's no longer acting through proxies or time zones. He's face to face with the woman he's been blaming for decades of humiliation.
All right. And in his mind, this was the final correction. Diane had ignored him for too long, and now he would teach her, and anyone watching, the consequences of mocking men like him.
Yep. He went to Diane's room and played good husband, but she wasn't paying attention. She was distracted by the show and the bodies dropping that were somehow connected to her. See, he originally had told her that he was going to be away skiing for the weekend. So it was a surprise that he was there.
Okay.
You know?
According to the police report, Richard had tampered with the hotel's elevator controls in advance.
Which is what the tools are for.
Yes. And his idea was to chain Diane inside and force the elevator all the way up, then all the way down. A slow, mechanical execution meant to terrorize her and, in his mind, make a public statement.
So let me put this a bit more...
So it's supposed to go up and then plummet, is it?
No, what he did was... Yeah, but first... Do I talk about that next? I just want to make sure... Yes. So what happens basically is the abduction itself is so we're going to just ignore this little paragraph here that you have in black, right? So what happens is he is trying to talk her. First, he's trying to talk her in the dressing room into like just going away with her. It's like, fuck the rest of the show. Let's go off. And she's like, I have responsibilities. I have a job to do. Come along with me and you can be there and we can celebrate the New Year together.
Yeah.
And they get into the elevator and as they're getting into the elevator, they're there with a police escort.
Okay.
He fucks, or no, she leaves with the police escort, excuse me, and tells him she'll come back from later and that they can go off and do whatever then. But he goes, and as soon as they're in the elevator, he starts fucking with the controls. Okay. Making it go up and down really, really fast so as to kind of slam him and knock him out. When the doors open, the cop is knocked out and he kind of pushes him aside. And while Diane's kind of half in a daze, he finally kind of explains all this shit that we've been talking to these people, to our listeners about, you know, all this shit of, oh, you undermine me, you this, that, the other, all these kind of things that were there beneath the surface that she was not really paying attention to, just putting it down to his own weird insecurities, but not really seeing it as a danger. Yeah. Then he pulls her, while she's kind of like trying to convince him at this point. She's like, well, look, we can fix this. This is ridiculous. Don't, you know, you're overblown and all. He's like, no, I am evil. I am the person that did this. There is no going back at this fucking point. Yeah. So he pulls her out of the elevator, makes the elevator rise so that you can see down the elevator shaft.
Oh,
he connects the chain to her hand, shackles her to the bottom of the elevator. Then he raises the elevator so that she rises, so that she's going to rise with the elevator. And then when the elevator goes back down,
she gets squashed.
It'll crush her. Yeah, squash her. That's the whole plan here. The police, they're already on alert, right? So they kind of know something's going on here.
Yeah, officers had been tipped off by previous witnesses and phone records. And as Richard started operating the elevator controls, officers traced his location. A brief firefight ensued. Shots fired, controls damaged. The elevator halted mid-ride, saving Diane from certain death.
Yeah. So basically, like most of these guys, shit. I mean, this guy, there's nothing special about this guy. He's good for nothing, really. And that includes taking shots. He's good at controlling elevators. He could have been a good elevator repairman. But so he sees the cops coming up and he sees this is end of days. So he starts firing at the cops. The cops start firing back, but they end up hitting the elevator controls, which stops the elevator from moving. Okay. Saving Diane's life in the process because it was just starting to lift her. Yeah. Yeah. But look, this is, again, like I said, a guy who is, I think at this point he has black pilled out of it and he sees no fucking way,
out of it.
Yeah, there's no, everything is doom and despair at this point, so he's not going to surrender.
No. Richard fled to the rooftop, donning what looked like a warped Nixon mask, which is truly terrifying to look at. You can find pictures of the mask online.
It's a fucking creepy ass mask.
It is. Police cornered him, weapons drawn, and in the final act, he jumped. The body was later recovered from the hotel's side driveway. A tragic, violent conclusion to a night of terror.
I wonder if he did it.
I was just wondering it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, splat. And that's it, right? Killer neutralized. Everyone's safe.
Not quite. Diane survived, injured but alive, but the story didn't end with Richard's death. Derek, their son, was there, and unknown to everyone, he had taken the mask from his father and the ambulance driver's keys.
Yeah, there was more going on there than Diane thought.
Yeah. Derek was working with his father, listening to his rhetoric and believing it. He killed the ambulance driver and drove away in the ambulance, carrying Diane away, leaving police none the wiser. It was hours before police realised the mother and son were missing, and apparently Derek drove out of the city, finding a quiet rural road in the middle of nowhere. There, he slipped a plastic bag over his heavily sedated mother's head, watching and masturbating as she died. His semen was found on her body later when the corpse was recovered. After the dirty work was done, Derek, wearing the same mask his father killed himself in, took off his belt, walked to the nearest tree and hung himself from it, wiping out the entire Sullivan clan just hours into the new year.
A teenager driven by his father's ideology, finishing the job. That's the kind of ending that haunts investigators and everyone watching at home. That's one New Year's Eve you wouldn't want to relive.
No, you wouldn't.
It shows you how this is. This is why you incels are incels. Because if we let you breed, you're just going to make more of ye. Terrible.
All right, well, that wraps our coverage of the New Year's Eve murders.
And I think a very simple fucking thing here to say is we're going into 2026 now. 2025, let's face it, that was a rough one. In terms of politically, in terms of warmongering, in terms
economically.
of people fucking constant. It feels like every year we start hating each other a little bit more. So this year, your New Year's resolution should be simple. Treat others like you want to be treated yourself. Yeah. Let's all try and be a little bit better going into 2026 and start making this world a better place rather than fucking flushing it further down into the toilet that we have been doing for so fucking long now.
Absolutely.
I know we got 3 more years left of that orange prick over in America. I know Netanyahu's still a fucking Nazi, a Jewish Nazi in fucking Israel.
It's okay to hate them.
But at the end of the day, I know not everybody's always going to agree politically or fucking societally on how to live. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't affect your life directly, stop fucking worrying about it. If it's you only get one life, live it the way you want to fucking live it, not the way everyone else tells you to fucking live it. And if you're one of the people who tells everybody else how to live it, stop doing that. Worry about yourself.
Yep.
And let's start working on fixing shit instead of constantly spending our time blaming each other for fucking how bad the world is.
Yeah.
Pretty plain and simple. And that's it.
It is. And if you want more horror and crime fun, then head on over to patreon.com/the Horrorverse Network and check out our bonus show. It's a live action because tomorrow we'll be dropping our bonus show episode where we
talk about all the great stuff coming in 2026.
That's what we're doing on that one.
So check that out. We'll be
and
talking
there's a few good
Scream
ones.
7, Pinocchio and Strong, Terrifier 4.
We forgot to mention on that episode, Interview with the Vampire, new seasons next year also.
Along with a lot more. So go check that out. While you're over there, you can check out the rest of our Patreon exclusive shows. Playing with Bones and Celebrity Rap Sheet are currently airing the first season free. So you can check them out now and then pay $5 to listen to the rest of the seasons and listen to the rest of It's a Live Action. Listen to some of our old stuff like Real Monsters are still up there from before. You can catch all our shows. You can catch our 2 main shows, videos every week. Hopefully, if you check out the Horrorverse headlines this week, we'll tell you about what our plans are for that going forward. There might be some small changes happening there.
Good changes.
And bigger changes happening to other shows as well. But we'll have to just wait and see for that. That's all on the Horrorverse Network on patreon.com. $5 a month, 7-day free trial. And don't forget to check out Amy on Twitch every Monday at 10 p.m. to midnight Irish time, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern US time at Amy Rose 9, yeah?
Yes.
We'll be back next week with more tales from the Horrorverse. See you then. Same Alive time, same Horrorverse channel. Okay, love you. Bye-bye. And Happy New Year, motherfuckers.